Now that the trade deadline has passed and we'll have a clearer picture of where players will be and what players will be available in the offseason, I want to talk about some NBA stars that could be switching teams this summer. First up, I have the face of the league himself, LeBron James. With reporting coming out that both LeBron and the Lakers want to move on from each other after this year, it seems that LeBron will be changing teams for the first time in 8 years after having his longest stint with any team in his career. While he's certainly not the superstar he once was, LeBron is still a great player and can still turn it up when he needs to, so I'd imagine teams that are in contention would still be open to adding him to their team if they have the cap space available. Of course, the most obvious team that one would think of is the Cavaliers, and I like that idea too, but they need James Harden to decline his $42 million player option in order for that to be possible. I do think that Harden will probably do that and look to get a multi-year deal somewhere, and I think that part of the reason the Cavs traded Garland for Harden is that if Harden did decide he wouldn't use his player option, that the Cavs would then have cap space for LeBron in free agency. He would fit well as he could be second or even third option behind Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, and the Cavaliers would have a strong defensive front court and a good perimeter defender in Jalen Tyson, so LeBron's regular season defensive efforts wouldn't be as detrimental. I would love to see LeBron end his career in Cleveland with one last championship, and I think the Cavs would have a good chance if this happened. Sneakily, I think it's also possible that if the Bucks are being serious about trying to contend with Giannis next year, like they said they are, they could offer LeBron plenty of money with their cap space situation, which could be enticing for LeBron if he can't go back to Cleveland. Next, I have Michael Porter Jr. I thought that Porter would get traded this past deadline, as his trade value is at an all-time high due to his all-star level play and availability so far this season. However, the Nets didn't wind up trading him, and now appear to be selectively sitting him for the remainder of the season for tanking purposes and to avoid injuries. MPJ doesn't fit Brooklyn's timeline at all, and would still have good trade value in the offseason, so I could see a contender making a move for him this summer. One trade that I would like is the Nets sending MPJ to the Rockets in exchange for Jabari Smith and a filler contract like Dorian Finney-Smith. For Houston, it would give them a reliable offensive player and specifically shooter that would help bring them an experienced player who has performed in big playoff games. Porter would be huge for Houston to remedy its three-point shooting, which has been the worst in the NBA since the start of the new year, since MPJ is one of the best shooters in the league and can shoot off movement or off of the dribble. It would also free up future cap space for the Rockets as they'd be getting off long-term contracts with Smith and Finney-Smith. For the Nets, they'd be getting back a young, controllable player with room to grow that is kind of like a bargain brand MPJ, along with a 3-and-D guy who they could keep or flip for assets, and perhaps a pick as well. I think both teams would be getting good value from the trade, and it would better serve their long-term outlooks. Next, I have Austin Reaves. With Reaves and Luka Doncic not being a great fit due to their shared defensive deficiencies, I think it's possible that they could sign and trade Reaves for someone more defensive-minded and athletic that would bring in skill sets to make up for Luka's weaknesses. Obviously, it would be an unpopular move amongst Lakers fans since they've grown attached to the undrafted star, but if the Lakers are serious about contending during Luka's tenure in Los Angeles, they would realize that it wouldn't be smart to have a backcourt consisting of two defensive liabilities. Take the Cavs as an example. Even with elite defenders around Garland and Mitchell, they still had to break up their core four in large part due to the shortcomings of their defensive backcourt. I think the Lakers would be smart to make a move like trying to flip Austin Reaves for Jalen Suggs, as he would be a good pairing with Luka, since he's a fantastic perimeter defender who's also able to create his own shot or set up teammates, and has been a great catch-and-shoot player in recent seasons. The Lakers could also probably get Goga Bitadze in the deal as well, who could either start for or be a great backup center for LA. For the Magic, it would give them a guard who can both score and pass at a high level, whose defensive shortcomings would be far less detrimental in Orlando, where the Magic have much better defensive personnel to surround him with than the Lakers would. While I highly doubt this would happen, I think it would be a move that could be beneficial for both parties. Now going to the other team in LA, I have Kawhi Leonard. With the recent trades of James Harden and Ivica Zubac, the Clippers have shown that they have realized they are no longer a contender and have smartly opted to go into a mini rebuild. After having one of the oldest teams in the league, their new acquisitions show that they are moving towards having a younger and more energetic team. This could mean that they would be willing to deal Kawhi for a strong offer since they realize they don't have a realistic chance at a championship anytime soon and want to fully rebuild. Kawhi could also ask out since he would know more than anyone that the Clippers won't be a serious team anymore, that he's still a great player that deserves to be playing on a contender. A trade that I think could be fun is the Clippers sending Kawhi to the Knicks, with the Knicks giving up a package centered around OG Anunoby, one of Miles McBride or Jose Alvarado, and picks. For the Knicks, you would be getting a guy who is still a tremendous two-way wing who would immediately become the best player on the team, and would give the Knicks 3 great scoring options without really sacrificing any defense. For the Clippers, OG is a really good player who is entering his prime and would better fit both the timeline and mold of the players that they traded for at the deadline. And they would also be acquiring a really good bench guard in McBride or Alvarado, who also would bring more youth and depth to the Clippers, along with several first-round picks. It might not sound like an amazing return for a player as good as Kawhi, but with Leonard's injury history, the Clippers might not be able to get a grandfather offer that a superstar like him would usually generate. Not to mention, Kawhi could also miss time from a potential suspension as punishment for his alleged no-show job with Aspiration. I also think a trade to the Heat could be possible, but would be less likely. Next, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. If the Bucks decide to wisen up and opt for a rebuild instead of fruitlessly chasing contendership with Giannis, the Bucks could jumpstart their future with a trade this summer. They might not get quite the return they would have had this past trade deadline, since Giannis will be on an expiring deal next summer, but since Giannis is the third best player in the world, they would still be able to get a pretty solid haul. The trade I'd most love to see is the Bucks acquiring Austin Reaves via sign and trade, along with a pick or two, to send Giannis to the Lakers. For the Lakers, it would solve their bad defensive guards problem and give them a two-way superstar to pair with Luka Doncic, who still should have several more years of dominant play. And in my opinion, a Luka and Giannis tandem would be the best the NBA has seen since Steph Curry and Kevin Durant teamed up on the Warriors 10 years ago. After 5 years of being good but not great, this trade would certainly send the Lakers right back into contendership as long as they put decent role players around Luka and Giannis. For Milwaukee, Reaves would likely be the best combination of talent and age that the Bucks could get in a return, and he would fit well with the Bucks' other franchise cornerstone in Ryan Rollins, as well as give them some ammo to build around them in the future. I think that this would be a really nice deal for both teams, and would be great for the popularity of the NBA. And lastly, I have Peyton Watson. While he may not qualify as a star just yet, I think Watson will become one while playing on his next contract, so I'm including him too, because why not? With Watson having a breakout year for the Nuggets due to increased opportunity from injuries, averaging over 20 points per game during Jokic's absence, Denver will be priced out of Watson's unrestricted free agency since they decided to give Christian Braun a big extension. Any team with sizable cap room should be interested in Watson since he's an ultra-athletic wing that can now create his own shot consistently, space the floor, and play really good defense. I think the Lakers would be the perfect fit for him, as they'll have plenty of cap space to offer him, alongside the opportunity to play beside a superstar in Luka Doncic. It's also where Watson grew up and played college basketball at UCLA. For the Lakers, it would give them an athletic two-way wing that they've needed for years to pair with their offensive-minded superstar for the next few years. I'm not sure I could think of a better possible fit for either party.